like that, y'all. I like that, y'all. I like that,
Well, hello everyone. Looks like we are live, and it's February 13th, and welcome to the Crypto Morning Show with your host, Danny Johnson. Excuse me. Show some love in the chat room if you're out there. We got a really cool bunch of things to share today. So basically, we're going to show out, basically, here's how it's going to run down. So we're going to do some, I'm going to put this in the chat, so you can get the tickers we're going to follow. So we're going to start out with a quick review of some price action. Over the night to last day, EOS is blasted off. We have ZIL, DNT, IOTA, Litecoin, and GRT that we're going to be watching today. So we'll have a look at that. And then let's have, we'll take a look at the market cap, and then breaking news, which is couple things that's really good catalyst for us crypto fans is that Amazon looks like they're going to be jumping on the crypto bandwagon. They're actually posting new jobs on their website for crypto experts. And also the Twitter CFO is looking into Bitcoin treasury holdings. As you know, what's his name? Jack something, who also owns Twitter and Square, which Square already has Bitcoin going along. So looking forward to that. And then, of course, if you can stick with me today, I'm going to do a deep dive into TradingView, which is the platform that you see on the screen right now. And I'm going to kind of do a really detailed discussion on how to set all that up, what it means. So stick with me. I think you're good. And also we'll do at the end Ask Me Anything session where you can type in the chat, and we'll talk about tickers and whatever you want related to crypto, I should say. So first of all, welcome again. I'm going to put the TradingView link up there for you. It'll populate here in a minute, and also I'm going to share with you some referral links over to Binance, CoinBase, and RobinHood if you choose. So let's do that real quick, and then we'll get started. Bear with me. I'm going to put all those in there. Those referral links, we both get a little coin or two for using those. If you would, if you're considering any of these exchanges, please feel free to utilize them. Okay, enough of that said, let's jump into the charts. So here we're looking at ZIL, Z-I-L, USD, which is the pair to the US dollar. This one's up 27%, and as you can see, I've got listed here support at 14 cents, so we're going to look for it to hold that support level. And then we have resistance up here at the top at 15.8 cents. So basically what you're going to look for is we may back test down to this blue line, which is the 26-day moving average, or drop down to support where we had some previously support traded down in this region here of 14 cents. So basically if you're trading this, you'd want to put your stop loss down below, say, let's look at that 14.1, and that would protect you from if it does fall down to the next support level. Moving on to DNT USD. This is traded on Coinbase if you have that exchange. Looks like, let me move the resistance level that I put up here just a bit. Looks like we're going to test this 100-day moving average here on the 10-minute time frame. And we would look for that to hold If not, we're going to fall back to the 34-cent level of support here. If you're in this trade, you would set your stop down in the 34-cent region. And what you're looking for, if you're buying into this trade, is a higher low to form here, and then the next candle up. And we'll talk about candles in depth here in a minute, so bear with me here. Next up, EOS. EOS has had a run. Let's pull out to the 1 hour time frame so you can see better. We had a really good, stable back test of $4.65. And as you can see, we had increasing volume on the buy side. So that's kind of pushed us up to these levels. So I'm not sure. Let me zoom out and we'll see where we should be getting pretty close to the all-time high. So all-time high would be up around $7.75. Most of all these coins are hitting all-time highs. So don't be surprised if we don't get up there. So we're going to put that up in this region here. We may not be able to say it when we go back to the 1 hour time frame. So just keep an eye out on the RSI. We'll talk about that here in a few, but it's starting to get somewhat oversold. Overbought. I always get that wrong, and I'm going to review that too. Looking down into Litecoin. Litecoin is back in the region. If you've been around for a long time, you'll know that we got up into the $300 range with Litecoin. Litecoin's really handy if you're buying in. If you're exchanging fiat, you can use Litecoin to basically exchange your US dollars or wherever you're from into Litecoin, immediately sell it, and then use that to trade around. So it's just a lesser of a fee. Moving on, IOTA. IOTA, as you see, we had the 12-26 day cross right here. And then it looks like we're going to try to form a bull flag. That's what that's called. We're going to draw a level of support at 0.009. We're going to look for it to break past 0.010, and then we're off to the races. Moving on to GRT. This one's traded on CoinBase if you're using that exchange. And once again, we had the 12-day cross to 26 on the downside, which usually indicates we're gonna expect some downside, but we managed to hold, but we are seeing a lot of diminished volume, so expect to see that go sideways for a while. And then lastly, we'll look at Stellar. We can easily see that we've got some support to fall back on right in this region here, which is around 53 cents. And we're going to look for Stellar to move above. This will be our resistance at 58 cents. So if we can peek out above there, watch this next level of resistance up here. Let's just do around 60 cents, psychological number. And we should be doing well. I think the only thing left we have on the list would be Ethereum. How's Ethereum holding up? And of course, Bitcoin. So we'll do Bitcoin last. Ethereum. So looks like we went up to, we got all the way up to, if you know me by now, I don't really look at the wicks, but we're looking at the body of the candles here. We got teed up to 1866.79 cents, so we're going to look for that as resistance. We drop back down and a nice bounce off this 100-day moving average. And if you're wondering what this orange line is, this is actually BTC shorts. So you can run two tickers on one chart to see. What I want to see usually is when folks are piling into short BTC, because Ethereum, Litecoins, some of the other major coins are pretty much, they'll run the same way. So there we go. And then let's look at, we'll look at DOGE and then have a go with Bitcoin. So DOGE is getting a lot of love, but it's, fundamentally wise. I mean, basically you have Elon Musk tweeting about it. We'll expect to see another tweet over the weekend. Snoop Dogg, Kanye, several other people, celebrity-wise, have been tweeting it up. So keep an eye out for that, because that can move the price. This one runs really heavy on hype. So just watch out for folks on some of the other pumpers trying to pump it. Don't get caught up into that. And there'll be plenty of time, as you can see here, to get to buy in or scale in. We did have a 1226 cross, which you can see usually when you have the lower moving average cross over the higher moving average, it usually goes up to the upside, and we're going to talk about that today. And then conversely, when you have it cross the other direction, it usually going to drop down to the downside, unfortunately. So lastly, we got Bitcoin. We just pooched below this 100-day moving average. We had a cross here. We're still pretty healthy, and we're going to look for, kind of watch the volume down here. And the RSI is in a good position, so we're going to watch that today. So that pretty much rounds up the pricing section. And so the next thing we're going to talk about is I'm going to go into a deep dive now with TradingView, and basically why TradingView. So if you use RobinHood, Webull, what have you, these platforms are great. But when the price keeps, basically when the price keeps going up, it's easy to buy and you're making money. But when it starts to get volatile and go up and down, it's really hard to see on these line charts. And I'm going to show you an example of RobinHood here. We'll switch over to here. And so how I got to this is you go back here. This is basically the desktop version of RobinHood. And what you're going to look for is right over here to the right where it says expand. And basically you hit that expand, and now what we have here is a line chart. And you can see this is live, and we can change the daily, weekly, whatever the time frame we want to run on. But the cool thing about it is we can go over here to the right, select this down arrow, and switch it over to candlesticks. So now we have a better picture of what's been trading. We'll talk about candlesticks in detail, but I just wanted to go over this example in RobinHood of how you can expand the data just beyond the normal. And how I got here, I should do this actually, Bo. You go all the way back to, and you're going to have to choose this particular Bitcoin. You'll have to choose a coin, then get to the expand, and then you can toggle your candles in your line graph here. And then also, we're just going to really go through this fast, but we're going to revisit it. And so basically here, we can add data, and what we're going to do is choose the moving average, and you've probably seen me do that. We can change this moving average here to from 5 to, we want to do 12. So now we've got our 12-day moving average, and then we'll add another one. You can just start stacking them. Another moving average. We'll do 26. Change the number. You can change the color because we're too similar here, so we'll make this one a, what did I do? Red, blue. So this one should stay blue. We'll change the color of the other one here. Let's do that. So be red. So we're going to try to match up what I have on TradingView. 1226. And let's add another moving average. And 1226 is going to default to 5. And we're going to change this to 100-day. There we are. And let's change the color to the, where did my 100-day go? Didn't save it. All right. 100, and we're going to make that yellow. There we go. So now we can see in the chart, very similar to TradingView. The only thing, the downside, let's see if we can make this even daily. And you can see now, we can also do RSI. We'll add that. That matches up with our TradingView, etc. So that's basically how you can customize your indicators in Robinhood. Very same thing on mobile. In Robinhood, you can do the candlestick pattern, but I don't think it's possible to add these indicators like we have on the desktop. Now let's jump over to Binance, show you the same thing. So basically in Binance, you have the ability to use TradingView as your chart inside the trading platform. So as you can see here, same tools, same things. We can kind of build out our indicators, change our time frames. And if I'm going too fast, let me know in the chat. Or say hi in the chat if you're out there. Keep an eye on that. So in most of the trading platforms, that's what you could do. Some have TradingView embedded inside them, and that's kind of my argument on why I use TradingView. Is the reason being is that you can use, what you want to do is you want to have available to you the most information available possible. And that's basically what we're getting. So let's okay. Sorry, just trying to catch up on my notes here. That's Binance, and then let's switch over to so basically when you click on that link that I put inside the chat, you would get this page here, and you can see you can sign in or start a free trial. And so basically I recommend it first. You don't have to pay for it. Just go ahead and, with your email account, sign in, create a password, and off you go. So this is the free version, absolutely free. And so basically you're going to see it looks very different from my chart. I'll switch back over there to what you see. So basically I'm running in dark view, which is set up here. Once you get in there, appearance, I've got the watermark checked, and then oh, it may be over here actually. Yeah, there's a toggle dark color theme right there. So that's why mine's dark. Since I spend so much time in front of the computer, I tend to like to use dark mode. So let me catch up here, and we're going to start out with you don't have to download this. This runs in your browser. I think it does really well in Chrome. And let me just get up there. So we're going to go over each category real quick and then start talking about indicators and all those things. So basically you have trading ideas. You click here. And so what trading ideas is, they're basically trade ideas that can be predictions, market analysis, trade setups published by actual humans out there that do this quite often. And on this page here, you can, as you can see, you can follow some of the top authors, and you just need to be selective because most of these folks are running extremely advanced charts, and start off simple and easy. If you want to follow me, I'll put you my do I do post charts on here? Let me find it. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, I can do it this way. Trading view. Here we go. Trading view follow. All right, there we go. Oh, Mrs. Whitebird's in there. Hey, hello, Mrs. Whitebird. How y'all doing out there? So basically, you just go in there, and there's your instructions on how to follow me once you're inside of TradingView. And basically, when folks post charts and stuff, it's a great way to learn. You're out there, as you can see, there's just tons and tons and tons of different methods, different charting techniques, what have you. So let's move on to markets. And then if you're, as you can see, we've got currencies, indices, all that stuff. But what we're interested in is cryptocurrency. And so basically you get some news aggregates here. You can read through that. Trade ideas, again, related to cryptocurrency only. Now, these are pretty good right here, prices. So you probably saw in the videos previously that this is basically an overview, filtered by overview, of the market cap. So you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, XRP, Cardano, etc. Polkadot and things. Oh, wow. Hello, Kelsey and Richard. Thanks for joining us. Show some love in that chat room over there. If you got questions, please post it in there. That's what I'm here to do, right? So I'm going to happily help you out. But back to here, you've got the market cap listings. You can sort in these columns any way you can, or feel free to do that. Trend following, which is really powerful. So moving averages rating, you can sort, and we'll talk about some of these things because it's going to get confusing really quick. And then one other thing, market cap, and you've seen me cover this in previous videos. This is total crypto market capitalization and volume. So what that means is you take the total amount of coins available in the entire market multiplied times the price gets you the total market capitalization. That's how that's computed. And we'll scroll down here, and now you can see a really good graph of the market capitalization based on each coin. So Bitcoin's 60%, Ethereum 14%. Let's avoid Ripple at all costs, and Btrash. Litecoin has dropped somewhat, and so forth. So we're looking at that. That's all inside of TradingView. Straight up free, doesn't cost you anything. We'll skip strips because you can actually build your own indicators and things like that inside of TradingView, which makes it even more powerful. One of the things that you can do, for example, is build your own trading bots, which is extremely dangerous. So please give it some time so you can learn a little bit more about that. Let's look at the screeners. This is a way to screen out top performing coins as they pop up based on a rate of change, percent, what have you. So if you're looking to buy in, you can run these screeners. Let's just do an example here. Change, percent. Here we go. As you can see, that's the least amount of change. We hit it again. It's going to sort it. So it looks like the BlackBerry coin BBUSDT traded on Bittrex is up 1,300, almost 1,400%. And then scroll down, and you can see. So we just screened all of that, and if we happen to be on these exchanges were available to us, then we would be watching these and charting them. Let's move on to brokers, and we'll talk a little bit about brokers. You can see these are available as integrations with TradingView, so you actually can trade inside of TradingView on these exchanges. Some of these folks are straight up stocks, options, futures, etc. So Gemini, on the other hand, is an option for folks here in the United States. Very similar to CoinBase. The Gemini trading exchange is FDIC insured, so your money is pretty safe. And so, okay. Let's move into charts. And then we just click chart here. And you can see here, this is the default of what you get. This is the bare bones chart. We got a line chart here, and the default for TradingView is Apple, AAPL. So what we want to do is we want to change our ticker and let's say we want to look at Bitcoin, BTC. So what we do is just, you don't even have to click anywhere, just type in BTC, and then we want to, BTC, and then we want to pair that with US dollar, and then here's our options for the data feed. So you have BTC USD coming from Coinbase, and you see the pairings. You have BTC coming from Gemini and Binance, and etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose Coinbase. All right. Now the free version, you will have this annoying ad over here, but like I said, nothing is free. So you can shoot them down, and you're going to get this every once in a while, but it's okay. We'll just ignore that. So as you can see, right now we have a line chart, just like you would see in the Robinhood app and some of the other ones for that matter. So basically what we want to do is swap that out into a candle. So up here, where this little, at the top, just to the right of the time frame, we see line, and we're going to switch that over to candles. So now we can see very clearly our candlesticks. So basically, for me, candlesticks tell a better story of price action. So, and I'm going to show you real quick. Where's my candlestick cheat sheet? There you go. So here in the center, it kind of gives you a really good, and if you want to take a screenshot of this and stuff, this is really a neat little tool to have. So it describes what constitutes a candlestick. You got on the buy side and the sell side. So this wick down here is the low, and usually where the wick meets the bottom of the body is where it opened. This wick up at the top means it's highest during that time frame, and just at the top of the body here is when it closed for that particular time frame. So these are all time frame specific, and we'll talk about time frames here in a little bit. So just keep that in mind. This is a really good, take a picture of it, snapshot if you can, screenshot, what have you. That is the candlestick pattern cheat sheet, and if you type that into Google and switch to images, you'll be able to find that yourself. It's taken straight off the internet, so it's a really good thing to have around because, like I said, the candlesticks tell a story, and it tell the story of how the price came about for each time frame, and so or each time interval, whether it's hourly, minutely, what have you. Then it tells you about some of the important ones, which is the DOGE. When you have, it looks like a spinning top, that typically tells us that there's uncertainty in the price. So it can go up or down when you see those. And I'll show you an example here. So let's switch back over. What I want to show you now is an example of a lot of selling. So let me find, where is that? Here we go, DOT. So what you see here in DOT, we're going to switch to the 10-minute time frame. You see how all these wicks are just sticking up all over the place. So you go up, but each and every candle has a long wick on the top. And what that's indicating is there's a lot of high-frequency trading going on. These are done by trading bots. So they basically buy on the bid, sell on the ask, buy on the bid, sell on the ask. All they're doing is working the tops and the bottoms of the price. It is buying and selling, thousands and thousands of trade every second. So just keep that in mind because it can throw off how these names behave in price action. So once again, that's an example of some high frequency trading. And I'll show you one trading, I should say. I'll show you like on Bitcoin. It's basically the same, but to a lesser magnitude, right? Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So, just reviewing the notes. Oh, I would mention too, in TradingView, you can create your own trading bots, which is extremely dangerous especially when you're first learning, because you can flush out your bank account really quick if things go bad. So keep that in mind, and we'll move on here. So what I want to do, let's go back to the, we're trying to match up what I have here. So we've switched the default over to candlestick view. Once again, right over here, you have the ticker or the symbol search. This is your time frame indicator. You can click that, and you can make that, let's make it 1 hour. That's what I usually watch if I'm swing trading. Like if you're going to buy a particular coin, hold it for several days, then an hourly time frame is pretty good measurement. And then we'll talk about later on what's some do's and don'ts and what some mistakes most people make when they're learning to plot the chart. So right now we have candlesticks on our chart. So next thing we want to do is we're going to add some indicators. And you see on my chart, we switch back over here. I've got all these crazy lines going everywhere. You've got the volume indicator down here, which is standard. And I have another one called RSI, and we'll go into what all these things mean. So the first thing we're going to do to our default chart is we're going to add these 3 lines, the red, the blue, and the yellow. And basically the red is a 12-day moving average. The blue is a 26-day moving average, and this yellow is a 50-day moving average. And basically moving averages are used to kind of smooth out price over specified time frames. Otherwise it would just be going crazy, like it'd just be a bunch of zigzags. And then so basically what happens when this moving average is going up, that indicates an uptrend. When it's going down, as you can see here, all this red on these candles is a downtrend. And what you look for is called the cross of these moving averages. So if you have the short-term moving average, in case of this red one here, it's a 12-day crossover the 100-day moving average, that usually tells us it's going to drop, and you can see it did. And then the shorter term, again, the blue, which is a 26, crossed over the 100-day moving average, which is typically an indicator things are going to get worse, which it did. You can see we dropped all the way down to the, in Bitcoin, 46,392. Conversely, when the short-term indicator crosses over a long-term indicator, tells us that it's going to go up. So here the 12-day in red crossed over the blue. Took a little time, but it started to rise. So now we see the red 12-day, blue 26 are all pointing upward. And what we would look for is we want these two to cross the 100-day again. And that's going to give us more upside potential. So that's why we use those. And basically I use the 12, 26, and the 100 because I've done a lot of research, and that's what most traders that are successful use, those moving averages. With that said, let's go over and set up our default chart to indicate. So what we're going to do is we'll go to indicators, click that. We're going to do a search for triple EMA or MA. I use the triple MA. Oh, this is a forecast. We're not using that one. Triple MA. Here we go. Triple moving average. So what that's going to do, is we got to sign in to do that. So let's avoid that at all costs. There we go. Anyway, you would need to sign in to do that. Obviously, we're not going to do that, but I'll show you back on my chart. But you could do the same thing. Once you've signed in to your free account, you'll be able to add these indicators. So basically what you would do, you go up to here. Where's our indicators? There we go. Indicators. Do a search. Triple moving average. Then we're going to look down here for just a triple MA right there. And these names out here are just the folks that are kind of developed these. You see I've got this one starred, so you would look for triple MA, what is that, LV Turner. So I'll put that in the chat for folks. Triple MA LV Turner. And then once you select that moving average, it's going to populate your screen with these default values. So let's get to that and I'll show you how to change them. So right here you see I have triple MA, and that's what you would see on your screen. And you would select the gear icon here, and basically moving average 1 would be you just enter 12, moving average 2 you enter 26, and moving average 3 100 day. So that gives us our values. And then over here on the style, what I did was with mine, I made the red line down here really thin, relatively thin I should say. Then I made the moving average, the blue or the 26, a little thicker. I think I did it here, yeah. And then of course made the yellow even thicker. So that gives it a visual to me that the red indicates, because it's thinner, a lesser amount of time, which in turn is 12 days. The blue is 26, yellow is 100. Now some folks use the 50-day moving average, and you can do that. And we'll kind of talk about what kind of mistakes people make when they're first learning to do that. So let's hide that indicator. And now we're going to move over to, excuse me one sec, got to scroll my notes. Make sure I'm not, so volume indicator. And then basically, let me see if I can get you the, whoops, I didn't hit enter. I think I've got one in here for volume. So basically volume is the measurement how much of a given asset is traded over a period of time. And so I use volume 20. And so we'll show you the setting for that. You would just do the same thing. You just want to, all you'd have to do is change your value in the volume indicator here, inputs to MA link to 20. There we go. I'm going to put that in the chat. So if you want to replay this, set volume. I think that's EMA 220. So people replaying this can look back and kind of get those numbers. So that's our volume measurement, which is this set of bars down here at the at the bottom. So you can see the heavier the volume, the bigger these bars get when it starts to run down along here. And let me move this line out of the way so you can see. There's also this is the volume average. So when you peak up above average means that's a contributor to the, to the price increase or decrease. So as you see, we had a big influx of folks selling, drove the price down. Then the buyers came in at a higher price, went back up. So that is the volume indicator. The next one I'm going to show you is called the VWAP, or the volume weighted average price. And basically that's used by a lot of traders to see the average price as it's traded throughout the day. And I've got mine hidden because my chart's getting a little busy, but let's just reveal that one. And let's see. You'll probably hear when folks are trading, let me get this cleaned up a little bit, sorry. So here, the big white line here is the VWAP. And typically the ticker is going to run. Once it gets above the VWAP, it's going to be back and retest it, gets below it, indicator is usually going to go down, etc. So you can use this one over different time frames. That's the 5 minute, and you just start looking through the different time frames to see which, now you can see where the VWAP comes from. We're on the 4-hour time frame. As you can see, this is pretty much showing us the average. So let me go ahead and hide that back. That is called the VWAP. You probably hear that one talked about quite a bit in the trading world. Here we go. So let me see if I can put this in the chat for you. Sec. I think I've got it in here. We'll see if that populates and we'll move on. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is the RSI, or Relative Strength Index, and that is this line chart down here at the bottom, very bottom. And what the RSI is basically a measurement used by traders to measure or assess price momentum of a ticker. So typically when it's on a scale of 0 to 100, you can see here 38 and 70 are kind of the parameters that we look for. And when this one, and we can actually draw a line down here. I'll get my line drawing tool. As you can see, once it gets above 70, that means that it's overbought, and usually indicates it's at some point there needs to be a cooling off period, and it's going to drop. The price is going to go down. As you can see right here, as this one got to what would this be, 77.03, the price retreated down. Then we got into, relatively the center. And you can draw lines inside of here too. Like if I was saying, if I look back through the chart, and I was saying, okay, every time it gets to this RSI, which is 46.15, it seems to want to climb again. And then you can look for patterns in there, chart that out. And then let's see if we can see one that's oversold. Let me delete that line. So this is conversely when it gets below 30, like this here, you can see it's sold off, sold off, sold off. That means that it's oversold. So there's usually momentum carrying it down. Oops, no, we didn't want to go that low. And then it bounces back up. So you can also chart down in here, or looks like it would be more of an average in the 38 range. So that's RSI. And let me just put that one on here. I think I've got some RSI info in there. Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about there's some other tools we can use that are really handy, I think, but they might be considered just a little bit more, I don't know if you want to call it complex, but a lot more. Sorry, I'm going to clean this chart up a little bit here. This one. You can see all the trading activity here that I've got, the red and the blue here, buying and selling. So what I want to show you next is called the Fibonacci Retracement. And if you Google that, you'll see that it's based on the golden ratio, which is the ratio of a number divided by the next number in the sequence. And so it usually yields like 0.618, something like that. So it's kind of you could do all kind of research on the Fibonacci retracement, but it's really cool tool to use when you're trading. So I've got that tool selected. I'm going to click up here on the tops of these candles, pull down to the bottom, and then maybe this, where I'm on the 4 hour here, is right here. And hopefully, it's probably going to be hard to see. I'm going to try to expand it. I'll move this line out of the way. And so you can see there's a scale here. And as I mentioned, you got the 0618, you got the 050, and so forth. So what this means typically is once the price hits around this 1.0, it's going to retrace. And retrace means it needs to go back down and retest the lower end of this. Typically, it's going to go right in here to the 0.50. As you can see, it's almost in alignment. If we included the wicks on this, we could see that it's right this level of support right here. It will retrace back to the 0.50. And you can run this thing, this tool. It's pretty used. It's a little bit complex at this time. We'll go over that someday, but that's a really good one to use. Okay. So with that all said, what's the common mistakes when charting? So the first thing folks are going to do, I did it myself, is just put too much shit on the chart. And it looks like, you know, a crayon exploded on it. So basically what you want to do is start off simple. Basically learn how to read the candles, what they're telling you. Then add in the moving averages, kind of keep an eye on them. Watch the volume because they are contributors. So you see here we had a big buy up here, but then the volume started to dry up, and then the sellers took over, drove the price back down. So EMA, estimated moving average, volume, and RSI. Top three, and they can be added. We'll go into, here we are in Binance. You've got the, let's see if we're using the same. Well, you can see here in Binance, they've got the Fibonacci here for you and all those things. We already have the, where's my indicator button here? Is that it? Time frames you can select, 1 hour or 2 or 4 hours. So what have you. You can make this full screen. There we go. There's the indicator. So you could just do a search just like in TradingView, because this is embedded TradingView. And if we did moving average, there you are. You can put a moving average in there. Or if we did RSI, relative strength index, we just added that to our chart inside of Binance. There's our RSI. We got our volume. We got our 3 moving averages. And this is what Binance looks like. Same thing over here. We're back in Robinhood. And then I want to show you CoinBase Pro. So if you're using Coinbase, can you put a 1 in the chat? Anybody out there using Coinbase? That's one of the most popular ones. I think it's maybe the safest to put money into, because it is insured by the FDIC. I'll put a link in the chat for a referral code. We both get some free stuff if you use that to sign up. There's that one. So let me show you what, if you got a Coinbase account, then you have access to the CoinBase Pro. And let's get that in there. Let me show it to you. There we go. So this is CoinBase Pro, and basically you can very easily transfer money from Coinbase into here. It's all built in. I'm not signed in, so I can't show you. We'll do that some other time. I just have to be careful with signing in with my own accounts, because you would be able to see the private keys, which you never, ever, ever want anybody to see, because that's the keys that you can take out your money or your coins. So this is Coinbase Pro, and you can see here we have Candlestick chart, we have the ability to, we put our EMA 12 in there. There it is. We can put our EMA 26 like we did before. So you can start to see the similarities. So basically now we've got it set up. We can change the time frames, like we're set at 1 hour. And you're going to see this amongst many of the high-end exchanges. And I will tell you though, be sure and be careful about clicking around in here, because you can, if you click over here, I don't know if it'll let me do it because I'm not signed in. It's probably going to want me to sign in, yeah. But anyway, if you click on some of these things, it will actually populate your trading window over here to the left, right here, your order form. And then one last comment about the exchanges and things. Be sure not to, or try not to ever use, you see this one over here, it says market. Try not to ever market buy, because what that's going to do is your price is going to be determined as whatever's sitting on the ask. And you know, there's the bid and the ask. The bid is what people are wanting to buy it for. The ask is what are people wanting to sell it for. So there's usually a difference in between the two. So be extremely careful about market orders, because you can pay a lot more for the coins than you should. So basically that's CoinBase Pro. And that's what it looks like. And then lastly, I wanted to show you, this is a good site called Investopedia. There's a lot of good information. I'm going to put the link in the chat for you. Here we go. You can learn all about all these things we talked about. If you just do a search up here, we put in RSI, do a submit, scroll past the ads, it's going to give you your definition. Different types of RSIs. A lot of good education on here. There's a trading simulator. If you want to learn to paper trade, you can go in there. You can actually, I think you can only do stocks, which is the same. I mean, if you're trading stock or crypto, it's the same technical analysis, same fundamentals. Let's see. So moving through the notes. So, like I mentioned, what are some of the things or mistakes that we all typically do? First of all, we have a shit ton of indicators. Too many. We don't understand what they're doing. Kind of pollutes the chart, so it's not really telling you the story. So, second thing people want to do, they zoom into the 1 minute time frame. You can even go into the, I think, to a second. And things are happening way too fast. As you can see, you got all these crosses and all these things, and it's just almost impossible to trade on a minute time frame. You cannot outrun supercomputers or high frequency trading bots that are doing it in milliseconds, thousands per millisecond. So I would recommend staying away from the 1 minute. Look at the 5 minute if you want to be zoomed in, or the 3 minute. You see I have mine. 3 minute time frame's okay, but typically if you're going to swing trade, look at the hourly or even the daily time frame. It gives you a lot better picture of, as you can see here, Bitcoin is in a trending upward still, which is a good thing. And then we didn't talk about favorites. Over here to the right is my favorite list, which I've built. And you can see you can build them. You just hit the plus button here. You just type in whatever the ticker is. We'll do XRP. And I'm usually pairing it with US dollars because it's less confusing. But let me show you what happens when you do XRP to Bitcoin, for example. What in the hell does that say? So basically that's telling you the price of Ripple as compared to Bitcoin, or paired to Bitcoin. So this can somewhat mislead you sometimes, because what if Bitcoin's going way up and XRP is going up the same rate? Then the price is kind of skewed. But if you're going in opposite directions, then this is a pretty good indicator of, hey, if I wanted to buy, which I would never do, buy XRP with Bitcoin, I could do so. One of the things that I can suggest that you consider is like make your Bitcoin holdings like your long-term investment. Put Bitcoin in there, leave it in there. Don't trade using your Bitcoin. If you want to trade the other ones, do that. You know, let's say you set your budget $100. I'm going to put $70 of that 100 every month in Bitcoin, and I'm going to take $30 and I'm going to use that to trade the altcoins. And that way, the majority of your, you just keep adding, and if you want to watch for pullbacks, which means like Bitcoin price, we'll switch over to Bitcoin here. So as you look at this, is on the daily. Do you want to buy way up here? But then someone is saying, oh, wait a minute, this thing's going to go up to, it's only 47,000. They're saying it's going to go to 100,000. Well, more than likely, you're going to have an opportunity for it to come back down. Buy on the dips, cost average in. Don't blow your whole wad, your whole $70 at once. If you want to scale in on the pullbacks when the price drops, do it incrementally. If you saw it going down, it's going down, it's going down. This is the hourly time frame. Maybe I bought right here. No big deal. I didn't buy it there's no way. Let me put this another common myth. There's no way you're ever going to nail the bottom. There is a way, I guess. I shouldn't say that, but there's highly unlikely you're gonna buy it right here. And same goes with the top. If you were trading, let's move to one that we would actually be trading. So here's the example. We charted it. This is a 1 hour chart. We see that we've got resistance up here at 15 cents. We're 1 penny away at 14 cents. And is that a big deal? No. Percentage-wise, though, it can be if you had a massive investment in there. Go here to the ruler tool, and we're talking about right at 10% difference. So then you can, we just measure, so you made a 10%. So if you had your $30, 10%, you made $3, right? So that's not bad. So just keep that in mind. That's one of the common things that most people get psychologically ruined over, missing the bottom or not nailing the top. Just forget about it. And then some of the other things, watching too many tickers. So I showed you over here. This is my crypto list here. You won't be able to do this on the free account, but you can actually color code particular ones. So one's color coded, full disclosure, I own. And so that's how you track it. You can sort it by these color codes, or you can, like what I like to do is I've got my list here I'm watching. I could go up here to the change percentage, click here. That would give you, it's the worst on top, best on top. So this tells me that ZIL, which we have on the chart here, is the runner for the day. Second place, DNT, and etc. So cool. And then one thing I want to show you before we get into the Q&A, if anybody has any questions, get those ready. This chart here is what's known as the psychology of a market cycle. And it's when you start to trade a lot, you need to get familiar with this thing, because I can tell you, that understanding the psychology of what's going through your mind when these things occur. And this chart is, if you want to Google this too, you can just Google psychology of a market cycle. And it shows you, like, here it goes. You start out with disbelief. The rally will fail like the others. Yeah, well, maybe a recovery is possible. And it starts to go up, and then you're thinking, oh, well, it looks pretty good. Then the hype kicks in, then the thrill, and then euphoria. And so what happens when you reach this from thrill to euphoria in this region here is what we're in right now, typically, with the crypto just going straight up. Nobody even thinks about it going down. And then this is where FOMO comes in. You see things going up, you think, I got to buy, I got to buy, I got to buy. You're buying at the top. You've given in to the fear, uncertainty, or the fear of missing out, I should say, not FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt, but FOMO. You buy in here, then it drops. Then you think, then, okay, well, it's not going to drop that much further. So you just convince yourself it's just a cooling off. We're going to hang in there for the next rally. Then it drops even further. You say, uh-oh, what's up here? I'm starting to get nervous about this thing. No, but I'm sticking it out, and then denial. You're still holding in. Then the panic sets in. You said, oh, shit, the shit's hit the fan. I got to sell everything. I got to go. And that's where you reach capitulation. Capitulation is basically when everybody sells out or sells off. Then you get mad, depressed that you've lost your money. Then the whole thing repeats. So just keep an eye on this chart and always try to think when you're trading where you are in this psychology. And that'll kind of help you with your decisions and buying and selling. So just keep that in mind. I want to share that with you. And then, let's see, what do we have left? Okay, I think that's about all I have. Anybody have any questions out there that they want to post? Or see Whitebird saying he's been studying a lot of Investopedia, which is good. Yeah, keep that up. There's some really good folks out there. I think tomorrow I'm going to post several of the YouTube channels that I follow that I think would be helpful for you in learning to do this. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat, or if you have a particular ticker you want me to look at, stick that in there. And by the way, if you're watching, if you don't mind, like, subscribe, hit the alert bell. That's very helpful with the YouTube algorithm that gives me more and more exposure as this content gets more popular, so I can keep doing this for free. I'll give it a few more minutes. There's a little bit of a delay, so I'll just kind of give it some time. And while I'm doing that, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, I'm going to do a full feature on fundamental analysis. Basically, what that means is how to aggregate the news and the hype. So basically, in trading, what you want to do is you want to buy the rumor, sell the news. Usually when you buy the news, folks are already selling. So keep that in mind. And one of the tools I use for that fundamental analysis is TweetDeck. I'm going to show you how to set that up to filter out a lot of pump and dumps where you see these tweet storms coming in. I'm sure you heard of the Wallstreet Bets folks on Reddit. They're having a big impact on pricing nowadays. So if I'm actually a member of that, I've been a member of that. I think I can switch over to Reddit and show you real quick. Just be careful with this, because there's 8 million people in there now, I think, and there's quite a bit of institutional. So Simon says, hey. Anyways, Wallstreet Bets. You can see I've joined. I've been in there for, well, I think since 2012 or something like that, a long time. And they're, it's a big group of people. You've probably read all about it with GameStop and some of the other stock trades that was some of the other ones, GameStop and AMC, which is I think American Mall Corporation. They've been, if you watch some of the swings in the altcoins, they're moving those around. They're kind of cycling in and out at a very high pace. So basically I wanted to share that with y'all tomorrow, basically how to analyze what you're seeing in the news, see how that's going to impact your decisions on which coins to get into or get out of, and how to set up your news aggregator and more. So stick around a few more minutes. Any more questions you have, let me know. And then I'm going to wind up put a few things in there. Any questions? All right, before I sign off, we're going to have a quick look at pricing again. We are looking at Zill. Watching that one on the, let's put it on a 15-minute time frame. We have a bull flag coming, and looks like all the moving averages, 12 is trying to turn down just a little. Just watch for some volume to come in. We'll retest support here. Coming up is going to meet with the 26-day moving average around in this direction and look for continuation to the upside. Okay. Well, I think that's it for me, everybody. Thanks for coming by, and I appreciate everyone joining. And like I said, hit that like button, subscribe. If you're on mobile, you can just X out the chat. That will expose all those buttons for you. And then we'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. If something gets crazy today, I might pop back in for just a surprise live feed. But without any questions, signing off. Have a great day, everybody.